The real forefront of the coronavirus is now testing, and that's why we're talking about it more and more. Vaccines are a year away if things go well for widespread use. Healthcare workers may have an emergency use vaccine in the fall if things go perfectly. We've got dozens of treatments being tested. Nothing so far has been definitively effective, so that it becomes the standard of care in terms of existing drugs for off-label usage. We'll talk a little bit later about the latest news with hydroxychloroquine. There's no magic bullet right now other than social distancing and widespread testing. Now, the amount of disinformation and lies from the Trump administration about testing is staggering. And because testing is much more opaque than something like deaths, they are getting away with a lot of these lies. So that's why I want to explain it to you today. So very early on, we were told we're going to be testing millions and millions of people per week. We were told by the end of March, we will have 27 million people tested. It is now nearly the end of April, and we have only tested 4 million people. Okay. We're a month past when they said we would have tested 27 million. We've only tested 4 million people. The numbers are public. They're released daily. You can find them at covidtracking.com. Now, Donald Trump is insisting that we have the best tests and we are doing the most testing. Now, neither is true. We're dealing with possible combinations of both false positive and false negatives with tests anecdotally. But more importantly, in terms of per capita, we've done about 12,000 tests per million people in the United States. That puts us 42nd in the world in per capita testing. Now, there will be people who will say, come on, David, we're 42nd if you include the Faroe Islands and Gibraltar as countries. They are tiny. They shouldn't really be part of the equation. Fine. If you take out the tiny countries, right? If you don't include the Channel Islands, if you don't include Aruba, we are still only 28th in the world in per capita testing. So the reopening guidelines say that to even move to phase one, states must have, quote, the ability to quickly set up safe and efficient screening and testing sites for symptomatic individuals and trace contacts of COVID positive results, the ability to test syndromic and influenza-like illness indicated persons for coronavirus, as well as the trace contacts of those individuals, and sentinel surveillance sites that are screening for asymptomatic cases and contacts for people positive for coronavirus. In practice, no state has that right now. But notice that there are no metrics there. There are no metrics for the number of tests. If they came out and said, states must be able to test 2% of their population on a daily basis. Okay, and must be doing so in order to move on to phase one. Now we're talking. Now we have something tangible to talk about. The real single important question right now is, when will actual tests completed increase? Because they won't tell us this. On Monday, when this was asked, Dr. Birx put up a graph of labs that can process tests. That doesn't tell us the number of tests that we must be doing and when we will be able to do them. Testing centers don't mean much if they're not processing tests. How many tests are we doing? How many tests can we do and do we need to be doing in order to move on to phase one? Sometimes the Trump administration will say there are enough tests out there to double capacity. Capacity doesn't mean that the tests can actually be done. It means the materials for the tests are out there, but we need to actually be processing tests. Trump regularly talks about tests like exciting new iPhones. Take a look.
It's an incredible test. It's called the ID Now Point of Care Diagnostic Test, and it's fantastic. It's the hot one. Problem with this business is it's a hot one till about 2 days from now, because we do have a saliva test that just came out, and that can be self-administered, and it's said to be fantastic.
Yeah, lots of exciting new products for coronavirus customers, yet the one number that matters, which is tests being done, is not going up. This is not a secret. COVIDtracking.com tells you each day how many tests are being done. And as you can see, we put the numbers up on the screen. All the way from the start of April, which is what we're looking at, the tests per day are basically unchanged. We are testing between 120 and 160,000 people a day. Trump recently claimed tests done are doubling weekly. They aren't. Here's the data. I'm showing it to you. And in the meantime, we had a record number of deaths in the United States yesterday. So very clearly, we're not ready to reopen. I want to reopen as badly as everybody. I'm sick of being home. The life we lived in January seems so foreign at this point. But we're just not there. And if the 1918 flu pandemic tells us anything, it's that if you open prematurely, you are worse off in the medium and long term. It's painful to remain closed. I get it. But we are simply not ready. When we reached a new high in deaths yesterday, and we have not increased actual tests done. Remember, capacity is a code word for BS. Tests done have not increased during the month of April. We're simply not ready. If you disagree with me, if I'm missing something, let me know. I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. One of our sponsors, NordVPN, is giving you 70% off a 3-year plan, which comes out to just a little over $3 a month. And you'll get an extra month free when you go to nordvpn.com/David Pakman, or just go to their site and use the coupon code David Pakman. It's 2020. There is really no reason not to be using a VPN. Not using a VPN means you are not taking your internet safety seriously. I use NordVPN almost any time I'm using the internet. It hides your IP address when you're browsing online, keeps you safe from hackers, keeps websites from tracking your browsing activity. Many advantages. And NordVPN is the most trusted VPN in the game. They don't log your internet activity like many other VPNs do. Their servers are super fast, and you can even use it on your phone. NordVPN is giving you 70% off a 3-year plan. That's just over $3 a month, plus an extra month free when you go to nordvpn.com/David Pakman. I've put a link right underneath the video, or just go to their website and use the coupon code David Pakman.